All right, guys, welcome to another ATOG City Limits Legacy matchup. Today we've got a little bit of Grixis Delver matched up against, let's see.
It's Imperial Painter.
Yeah, it's not Shortcake, it's Imperial Painter. Or it is Shortcake, right?
That's
like
the other word. Shortcake, Imperial Painter, Eye Painter.
Eye Painter. Face Painter. All right, starting off the grindstones.
Yeah, one of the marquee cards in the deck.
Pretty much is. I mean, you play this deck more than I do. It's pretty much how you write it up, right? Is turn 1 stone, turn 2 painter.
Yeah, I think. I mean, ideally you would want to lead because you can kill turn 2 if you lead turn 1 soul land painter.
Mm-hmm.
It lives, and you play another soul land, then you can play and activate grindstone.
Gotcha. It's not the nuts, but it looks like his hand is pretty stacked.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's got Painter, and he's got 2 Recruiters that can follow up, given any removal that the Devil player comes up with.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his list, he's got more Painter Servants, obviously. He can also get Welder to resurrect fallen Painters, if necessary.
Yeah.
That becomes a little dicey with the death right, but I think green mana is at a premium in the Delver deck. That's the 4th color.
Have you ever used like a grindstone just to clear an opponent's brainstorm? Is that like not tech or?
Yeah, I mean, so you can basically go manual and mill your opponent out without the painter. I think I may have done that once. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, I think every time I've started, I eventually just draw the painter away.
Yeah.
Theoretically, like I guess if your painter gets surgically extracted for some reason or something like that, you could do that. It'd be very painful. But like this deck plays so many lock pieces, it's it's possible that you would have the time to do that.
So we got a Welder in play now, which is kind of like red sirens going off for the Delver player. Usually whenever that card gets into play, it's doing something degenerate. We've got, interesting, it's an explosives on 0 to kind of manage the Pyromancer tokens.
And that can also be recurred.
Yep.
Or used as
because you can just throw any spare artifacts and get...
Oh, nice.
Well, I guess, you could just kill all the tokens over and over again, but you can't
you
can't interact with Sunburst
anymore.
Yeah. Which he wouldn't really be doing much anyways. He only is mono red. So no, he's got white, right?
He's got white, yeah. I mean,
and Petal too, so he could really get like a big Sunburst.
Yeah.
Basically enough to kill everything in the deck, besides Angler.
Comes a Daze. Just as the Delver player drew it up, so... And he gets a meme of...
It's Igniknocht and the Moonanites from the critically acclaimed Adult Swim cartoon.
And they are flipping us off with their pixely appendages. Alright, so...
I think at this point Ian knows exactly what Austin has in hand off the Gitaxian Probe, because Austin has played both cards that he's drawn for the past 2 turns, right? He played the Welder and the Engineered Explosives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else? I guess his hand just changed, but be curious if he bends over, shows us his hand. Would love to see what he's working
with. But actually, if Austin rips another mana, he's got the win, and nothing happens to this Welder or the Painter.
Mm-hmm.
He has the win here because he can weld out the explosives.
Oh.
He can activate
grindstone in response. Weld out.
Oh yeah, for the ultimate BM kill. Yes. Keep the engineered explosives.
Instant speed, change the color of your deck. Suck it. So that's a pretty vicious combo. That's why Stifle seems like a solid card for these corner case matchups, but.
The Stifle version of Grixis Delver, I think, is very underrated. Like, if you look at all these lists from the last SCG, like, everybody was on. There was maybe one guy who's playing Stifle.
Really?
And then all the rest of them are the, like, quote-unquote Bob Huang, 2 Spell Pierce plus Forked Bolt main. with 4 Gitaxian probes, and then the standard rest of the deck.
How do you like the Spell Pierce?
I mean, I think it's pretty good. And I've only really played this in our local meta, which honestly is very hostile to Grixis Delver in general. I've been having kind of a hard time really winning a lot of matches just because of the decks that I face. I mean, I'm also not very good at it yet, so.
Well, I feel like especially around here with a lot of fast combos, Spell Pierce is kind of what you want.
And Austin does rip, or Austin, sorry.
No worries.
Austin's here in the booth with me. Quinn rips the Mana Source to activate the Grindstone. I think by doing it that way, and first welding out the explosives, he had himself covered through a removal spell. Because if Ian bolts the Painter, then he can say, still with the activation on the stack, weld out the Grindstone to get Painter back.
Yeah. So, got some deck lists here. Let's look at what we got in the set.
Mike has the Grixis
There we
Delver
go.
list.
All right. So, from Grixis Delver, we're looking at 2 Cabal Therapy, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Price of Progress, 1 Submerge, 1 Flusterstorm, 1 Collective Brutality, 1 Diabolic Edict, 1 Ancient Grudge, it looks fantastic, 1 Grim Lavamancer, and 1 Kolaghan's Command, also looks fantastic. I think he brings in the Grudge and the Command, and maybe even the Lavamancer. Well, not the Lavamancer, because that doesn't shut off the combo, right?
No, because the Painter has 3 toughness.
I think you want, you definitely want Therapy. You probably also want Surgical, and then the Artifact removal in Grudge and Kolaghan's Command.
What about Price of Progress? What about Price of Progress, boys? Come on.
I mean,
I don't think I'd play it, but
I don't think
be sweet.
They operate on so few lands that you're probably lucky if you get more than 4 damage. 4 damage is probably pretty lucky.
Yeah.
With the Blood Moon in play,
yeah.
Does that turn them into basics? So it's.
Oh no, it doesn't turn them into basics.
They're non-basic mountains.
Yeah, they're non-basic mountains, but they can't be. Well, Wasteland's not.
Wasteland's a mountain.
So basically, what you're saying is, if they Blood Moon you are guaranteed to resolve a Price of Progress.
Exactly.
Almost. Unless he's got a Painter in play and then puts together a force. All right, so in the Painter list, we've got a Jaya Ballard, 4 Rest in Peace, a Helm of Obedience, 2 Pyroclasm, 2 Chandra Torch of Defiance, 1 Tormod's Crypt, 2 Aethersworn Canonist, and 1 Duragar Hedge Mage.
And I think also a Bridge. We made some last minute changes.
And a 1 of Bridge from Below, or Bridge, Ensnaring Bridge. One of Bridge from Below.
Bridge from Below, that makes target myself with the Grindstone.
Oh my god. Come back.
Oh, we gotta try that.
New Age.
We probably shouldn't.
That's like the new 2-card Monty.
Yeah, I played against at a Legacy tournament once someone who had Seafood Breakfast, and then they transformed into Painter.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
It was pretty crazy.
Sounds like a sick deck. So what do we think they're bringing in?
They just showed us, but I couldn't see it.
Oh, they did? Yeah, oops. Yeah, we were...
I was looking at it and I couldn't see it.
Well, what looks good? I guess Bridge feels good.
Yeah, I think Bridge could be
Pyroclasm.
Pyroclasm for sure.
I think Helm Rest in Peace is probably just to have more just kill, because they're gonna. Grixis will run out of resources eventually, countering and destroying the combo pieces. If you just have more of them, you improve your top decks.
Yeah. And it shuts off the Delve spells.
Yeah, Gurmag and turns Deathrite into a 1/2.
I think the Chandras are also probably pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of options. It'll be interesting to see how Quinn boarded in this matchup.
Yeah.
Mike and I were playing this matchup before the stream, and I went with the Rest in Peace and pieces, the Helm and the Pyroclasm, and I boarded out the Aethersworn Canonist. It's kind of anemic. I mean, it's more for Storm.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a Pyromancer in play, it feels...
But even making 1 token a turn.
Yeah, 1 token a turn, and you have so many instants that you can basically make it on both of my turns. And then some number of the Graveyard spells. So the Grim Lavamancers came out, and 2 of the Welders, because that gets shut off by the Rip.
Yeah.
So it looks like our Delver player is on a mulligan, but the Painter player Quinn has kept his hand with a turn 1 Blood Moon possible. To what extent, if you are the Delver player, do you mull to some kind of counter spell to stop some sort of turn 1 shenanigans lock.
Being on the play is good. I mean, obviously he lost last game, so that's not good. But he's on the play this game. I think that's something you have to, if you know what the opponent's up to. But did he show?
Oh, he's got
last
force. He's got force. No, he didn't show.
I mean, Ian knows what's in this deck, anyways.
Yeah.
But like,
So
as far as in a vacuum, I think you probably do want to really emphasize keeping a counter magic hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he does. He locks out. He's got force plus blue card, and that's a snap keep. Bottoms the scry, goes for Delver.
And he could potentially have a very fast clock here if this Delver flips first turn.
This is Delver's wet dream right here.
Yeah,
here we go.
So yeah, if this Blood Moon doesn't stick, I mean, this is where City of Traders is really awkward.
Yeah.
Where it like dies if you play another land.
This is the epitome of Quinn's magic experiences coming to
pedal to the metal. Here we go. Yep.
Yeah. Do you have it? All right. No, I'm dead.
And there's the forest pitching True Name Nemesis, I think.
Yeah.
All right. But
I would have voted out the True Names.
Yeah, that seems not the best against a deck that has
slow.
like 5 main deck blasts, red blasts. But
yeah. Downside is Ian has to pay 1 life to make that happen. So it's a little bit
steep cost of 1.
He's gonna ponder, likely to set up his Delver flip if he can. Can't see what's there, but
it's definitely. I think the last card was a fetch land, but
don't fetch.
Leave that on top.
Yeah. Don't leave it on top. Don't play it and then crack it when you've left an instant. These are all mistakes I make regularly. We're just playing the deck.
I don't think Ian had a brainstorm here, but Mike, do you think this is a matchup where you would brainstorm an upkeep to flip the Delver just to get a fast clock going, or?
I
think at this position,
I think it would be pretty important to do so. Okay, he had the other land. Okay, that's pretty good.
Oof. All right, what is the name here?
Holy
he didn't say
crap.
Blood Moon, but if he did, he would have hit the jackpot. Oh, he's got the follow up Blood Moon.
Yeah, he can make a Blood Moon next turn too.
I think
you sneaky
Ian
bastard
needs to
flash back
and get those Blood
absolutely.
Moons. Yeah, because then Quinn's hand is
really
anemic. I mean, yeah, he's already gonna probably kill the Delver with the explosive anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming he actually draws red mana because he doesn't have any.
True, other than the Spirit Guide.
Yeah, which.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't, it's basically Quinn exiles Spirit Guide to play Recruiter.
He's gonna get the damage in.
He's gonna get that point. Yep. Tight play.
And then he did it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to.
If you're cold to Blood Moon, you have to make this play as much as it sucks. But I mean, it doesn't look like Quinn's hand is particularly good.
He has plenty of time to. Delver player has plenty of time to rebuild. Because I mean, the Painter player is drawing 1 card a turn and doesn't have a ton of manipulation or filtering.
Did he just rip the 4th Blood Moon off the top?
He's going Recruiter.
Okay, yeah, he's recruiting.
Yeah.
What do you think he's gonna get here?
Probably just grab the Painter and just kind of say hey,
make a 1/3 wall, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that seems good. Yeah. Checks any Pyromancers. I don't think he can head one, but
plus it turns on any of his. It turns a lot of stuff on for him. So yeah, he can get his blast going, and he can also just if he gets Mana Source plus Grindstone, he's in business.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, Quinn wants to be utterly degenerate today. He wants to say, you know what, you don't have lightning bolts. You took them out. Maybe not. I just want to lock you out of your stupid cards.
I would imagine though that Ian leaves in bolts here because it checks the Painter, right?
Yeah, he's got to.
I think you want him, but he does still have the main deck of Braid as well, which would take care of that. That's one of the things. I don't think that Blood Moon is particularly strong against this particular Delver deck because there are lots of red cards.
Right. Yeah.
And you could even construct your Delver deck to have more red cards on purpose if you're really worried about losing to Blood Moon a lot.
Yeah.
All right, we're playing the 1/1 for 3 beatdown game.
All right, here we go. What's he gonna?
Cast the Magus.
Yep. He drew a land. Yeah, he's just gonna try and turn the lands off again. Kind of wonder to what extent is it. I mean, I guess on this board, that's kind of what you want to be doing if your opponent doesn't have a threat currently resolved.
No, just lock him out from ever playing a spell.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, with the Magus, like, if
Yeah.
it turns on Ian's bolts and then he gets his lands back.
Yeah, or even a Pyromancer off the top.
Oh, yeah, true, Pyromancer. And Gitaxian Probe also plays.
Abrade. He's ready with the Abrade.
Well, yeah, this is
none of that.
not looking great for
Gross.
Quinn because he had to kill the city and now he's just down to one land. But,
but there's no pressure.
No pressure.
So that's exactly where the painter player wants to be.
Oh, he drew a soul land off the top. His hand is what? The engineered explosives and
another land. He's
another
got an
land.
Arid Mesa in hand.
Okay. Cool. That can fetch the white, but I mean he only has one more Blood Moon effect in the deck, so I don't think it's gonna come to that. But
it's okay. So from here, where does Quinn just trying to get A plus B? Is that what it is now? He doesn't have any like more tricks up his sleeve in his list.
it depends on how he boarded. I mean, that Chandra Torch of Defiance would be pretty good, I think. It feels like Ian had to expend a lot of his resources just to stay in the game, right? The Force of Will on the Blood Moon, and then he had to sacrifice his only threat to get rid of the other Blood Moons. But
Here's an Angler.
That's pretty good.
All right, that's pressure.
That almost makes up for the turns of sitting there.
This is
such a good clock.
This is where Imperial Recruiter really earns his money. Is gaining some life after he's done his job.
Yep, find a Magus to the Moon, gain 5 life.
Yeah.
I think he, dealt shock, so it's like a shock.
What's that?
It was like a shock, a Magus to the Moon.
Yeah.
1 2/3 healing self.
Yeah, I now I see what you're saying. Yeah, he definitely did some damage too, so he's doing some work.
Oh, but Quinn's gonna race with the plucky Imperial Recruiters.
Just take it. I take. Plat. All right. What's he got?
Yeah, for those of you at home, this is the 10th dual land, Plateau. White and red, not very often seen.
Yeah. The probably the reason for the name Shortcake is the layers on the card.
Oh.
Do we know what's in Ian's hand? Is he like rocking
No,
anything?
we haven't. Should I go ask him?
Yeah, me too. He fetched green, so he must have. I mean.
Maybe he's got the Grudge ready.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Alright.
Ancient Grudge just seems like the best.
So if Quinn is like super alert to this, maybe he can recruit for a Tinkerer and kind of get some like instant speed and response shenanigans going.
Goblin Tinkerer? Is it like a body on a tutor, or do you mean Welder?
Welder. That's thank you. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Welder.
Tinker's
Goblin
the thing that
Tinkerer is
blows
a
up
card.
artifacts, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. What does Goblin Tinkerer do?
I don't know.
It does something involving blowing up artifacts.
Yeah.
Oh, it is really? Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Checks out.
The list before Quinn made some changes actually had a Viashino Heretic in the sideboard.
Holy shit! What does that do?
So it also blows up artifacts. So I think the Goblin Tinker like destroys an artifact, and then the artifact like deals damage equal to its converted mana cost to the Goblin Tinker. So it's like basically one shot, right? Unless you're like blowing up Moxen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Viashino Heretic like blows up the artifact, but then it deals damage equal to converted mana cost to the artifact's controller.
So looks like Ian has forced Quinn's Enlightened Tutor.
Which undoubtedly would have gotten an ensnaring bridge to lock.
Yeah,
this game.
100% getting the bridge.
But Quinn just ripped a 3-drop card. It's probably a bridge. Let me just tell you this right now.
Oh,
it's,
the last Blood Moon, but I don't think it's going to matter.
It's probably doing worse to Quinn than it is to.
Yeah, to be honest, I think he wants to fetch with that Arid Mesa to get the planes in the deck. Otherwise,
he's just going to be ripping tutors for nothing.
Yeah, like we don't know if he brought in the Rest in Peace, but he could have up to 7 white cards in the list that he just won't be able to cast.
Kolaghan's Command.
Kolaghan's response.
Buy back
Getting
the Delver. Probably shock him.
Yeah, speed up the clock by...
And make it so that he can't fetch.
Oh, yeah, that's a good...
Oh, so dirty. All right.
If he fetches... Unless he can win the game on the spot.
Quinn's going to get 1 draw step to rip an ensnaring bridge.
Unless Ian has a bolt.
Fade a bolt. All right. Down 1.
And he has
He has a bolt. Oh, right. We're going to game 3.
All right.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Oh, and Quinn looked at the top, and he would have drawn an Enlightened Tutor. Yeah,
an Enlightened Tutor. Yeah. So he needed. Well, if he cracked, he would have been dead. So, and he wouldn't have had an Enlightened Tutor. But yeah, it would have sucked. It would have been a shit situation.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't see Chandra. I like Chandra here.
Yeah.
What do you think about Jaya Ballard?
It could be good.
I feel like that's a great card if your opponent has no pressure. You just kind of like manage their like small stuff as it rolls off the top of their deck.
Yeah, I mean it's good with Bridge too because it requires you to discard cards, so it can just like help you keep an empty hand. It's really a catch-all because it basically it has a repeatable red blast effect, like targeting a permanent, so you can blow up a blue permanent every turn if you have a painter out. Yeah,
no, it's a pretty sick amount of synergy, a little bit of AB synergy there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know if you go for Jaya Ballard because then you need like Jaya Ballard to be in play for a turn, not have Summoning Sickness, and have a painter out, and it seems against Delver. Like your creatures won't necessarily be sticking around long enough to assemble that combo.
I'm so curious what Ian took out of his deck at this point because I think we saw a True Name.
He definitely pitched a True Name to Force.
Maybe he cut down cantrips.
That might be it. Yeah, that wouldn't be my first go-to, but I guess that makes sense. You know, if they're not like doing much and you just need like effects, like you just want these artifact killers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Drawn up for the climactic ace match. Looks like Ian's taking a look at 7. He's got a wasteland, a daze. You gotta love that. If you got an island, I don't know if I don't see another land in that hand though. It's like double daze, brainstorm, red card against. Is it 2 Lavamancer?
It's like a pretty good. Looks like Ian's keeping.
Both keep. Wow. Oh no, those are welders.
Welder.
So Queen is set up well to do something degenerate.
Okay, so he did have the.
He did have an island. Yeah. So, given that, I'm on board with Ian's keep. Seems like a fantastic hand. Just not die to return 1 lock piece.
Yep. I think he probably is going to bolt the. I think you bolt the welder because that just gets out of control.
Does he has bolt?
Well, if he does, I don't know. Maybe you're either digging for 1.
If it's a braid, do you play a wasteland and then a braid in your next turn, and just tap out for that? I guess if you have days, you're not too worried because he hasn't played a Soul Land yet.
Although if you, at this point with the welder, it actually turns off the counter magic because it lets them get the artifacts out of the graveyard. It just like countering it is actually bad. So you have to deal with the welders.
Yeah, dude, welder is pushed.
Yeah, for sure. Although I don't actually know if Quinn has any artifacts in hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of his hand while I was getting the computer charger. And
what did he keep? Does he just have moons? Is that what it is?
So there's like a moon. I think there were 2 welders and then some lands, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
Quinn would never mulligan a moon in his life.
Moons and bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's not like storm comboing or like
if he's not
reanimating Gristlebrand, like moons and bridges.
He's not blowing your face off with a belcher, then he's locking you up.
Good clean magic.
Yeah. It's just a force of chaos in this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exactly the kind of thing we need.
Here it comes.
Here we go.
He didn't have the Simeon.
He didn't have Spirit Guide.
Oh, and this is.
It's like, what do you?
I see the fist pump. The welder getting in for 1.
What do you even play Spirit Guide for if not for this situation? Oh my god. Alright. Fetches. Bolted.
There it is.
Ew.
Get it out of here.
Seems reasonable.
Says Ian. Alright. Quinn.
Yeah, he did.
Rectifying his life. Total. Drawing a card. What's he got for us? What's best case scenario for Quinn right now? Chandra? That'd be
Well,
pretty sick.
so
Chandra would be pretty
yeah,
good.
Well,
he
he's
did.
got another days though.
Okay, a
really?
bridge. That's
Playing
pretty
around
good.
the days, that was
Bridge.
pretty wise. Playing the land first, clutch.
And he's at
play.
a high enough life total. I think this bridge
It's
should be pretty good.
Pretty good, unless there's an abrade. waiting
Yeah,
around.
braid or the
Still buying plenty of time here.
Yeah, I feel like this is fantastic for Quinn because it's like no pressure. Maybe draws out a grudge or a braid. It's something he's got to wade through eventually if he wants to combo off. So
At this point, I'm not even sure how good Wasteland is.
yeah, Wasteland Pyro.
I do like making the Pyro and flooding the board before you eventually kill the bridge.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Just surprising.
Also, the bridge. I mean, how many cards does Quinn have in his hand? He's probably still has several. So these, unless he's dumping them all next
That was turn 3. He was on the play, so he had 9 total cards, right? So he's got 2 in the graveyard, 4 in play. He should have 3 in hand, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, it's definitely not on, but I think resolving it is more than half the battle. Keeping it in play, so he's positioned well, but this definitely does not lock Ian out of the game.
Do you think he gets?
Okay, he's fetching in response to the probe. Perhaps a blast.
Oh, and in response to that, he's going to surgical
That was well
the
played.
Blood Moon. That's pretty good. They're constructing the stack because maybe Quinn has responses.
So,
If he has a Simian Spirit Guide, no, he doesn't. Okay, he's just being good to the booth and showing us what's happening.
Oh,
Pyroclasm,
Pyroclasm,
Blast,
Welder.
Another Welder.
Dang, that's pretty good.
So he's not even worried about an abrade at this point. He can
No,
get
I
that
don't think so.
bridge back. I guess he's worried about Bolt cleaning up his Welder.
Did they just skip Bright Eye?
All right.
Or Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Quinn's got the. All right, crying at the loss of his Blood Moons.
did he make a token for his? He should have 3 because he cast a probe.
Well, the Gitaxian Probe hasn't resolved yet. The fetch is still on the stack because they're resolving this.
Well, but the token trigger goes on.
I mean, technically, I guess it could still be sitting above the Gitaxian Probe, depending on.
Or did he only cast 2 spells so far with the?
Yeah, because he played
Yeah,
the
he had
thing
no
and then
mana. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
right.
this is right.
Seemed like a pretty good turn for Ian there. Although we did see that Quinn has some pretty good cards himself.
Quinn's
That
got the-
Pyroclasm will clean up that board pretty easily unless Ian has counter magic for it.
Yeah, I was a little interested by the.
He does. He has a daze, I believe. He had the double days. I think we saw in the beginning.
Yeah,
He's only
he
cast
does,
1.
yeah.
I think I'm not.
Yeah, I was a little. Thought the Pyroblast on the Gitaxian Probe was a bit aggressive.
Yeah.
Me too.
Especially if you're relying on resolving this pirate. I mean, he's hiding behind the bridge, right?
Strange fate for a young pyromancer to die to a pyroclasm.
Exactly.
But such is life. Alright. Ian needs some pressure here.
Brainstorm. I hear this is the hardest card in Magic to resolve.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, I was screwing it up so bad.
Oh no, we actually couldn't see what you were brainstorming because
Really?
the cards are up. No, we were talking about whether Brainstorm or Cabal Therapy is harder to play in the sort of just.
I think Cabal Therapy is tougher because it's like there's just less when you're like moving to cast like a therapy, especially if it's in the dark or like even not like is it worth a creature, especially in these Delver type decks because all your creatures are such valuable threats to you.
Oh, that was an Imperial Recruiter off the top.
That's quite good for the Painter deck. Alright, this might be a bait spell. Draw some sort of removal or something for what he's going to go and recruit.
Oh, yep.
Oh, here we go.
He takes the bait.
He might just go get another one of those. Does he really even want part of the combo, or does he want to tinker at this point?
I mean, I can't tell how many cards Ian has in hand, but like maybe he wants to get the Magus.
Magus. Yeah, because he's got no pressure. This would be perfect. Just dies to a ripped bolt or a braid.
And then Ian would be basically on only a braid or the first half of Ancient Grudge to get rid of the bridge.
You know, at this point, unless he pitched a daze to the force, Ian should have. He forces, assuming he still has the daze. He should have, in response to the recruiter, or no, in retain priority with the welder on the stack, and waste the other soul land, so that the daze is live, and then he could counter this as well. I think he still has a daze. He did brainstorm. He may have shuffled it away because honestly, a daze doesn't look very good against all those soul lands. But
he's going to get. Is that a Lava Mancer?
Yeah, he's getting a Grim Lava Man.
Lava Man.
Interesting. That card is great.
So it looks like his strategy is to hide behind this bridge and kill with the Lava Man. I mean, Ian's at 13 just from fetches and Force of Wills.
Doable.
Oh, and the surgical and the attacks improve.
Yep.
Yeah.
My hunch is that he just wants the Lava Man because it can just manage Ian's board so effectively. So any future rips, unless they're anglers, are pretty much taken care of.
Yeah, I mean the bridge bricks the.
There we go.
Angler, so
Ian just needs to fire off as many spells as he can before the Lava Man turns on.
And if one of those happens to be a bolt for the
Lava
that
Man,
recruiter does make the Pyromancer clock not particularly impressive.
Oh, it looks like Quinn's going aggro here, using the opportunity of having
knows that he won't
two
trade.
cards in hand just to force through one damage.
Yes.
So yeah, it does look like he's going to go for the burn you out plan with the Lava Mancer.
Interesting. Bold move, Cotton.
Fetch?
Ian is unfazed. Nerves of steel.
It's the black source.
See, oh man, he must be holding on to. He must have at least a cantrip or something.
Do you think he has Kolaghan's Command? That would just be
the
best possible. Yeah,
that card is
just blow up the bridge, kill the Lava Man.
Yeah, that card is the definition of a bomb.
Here we go. Slam it right now, Ian.
Yeah, that would be pretty disgusting.
Crack the game wide open.
I mean, you would want to play it proactively because he doesn't want the Lava Mancer to hit the young.
Yeah, like he needs to, I think, get rid of this. I mean, I'm sorry, he can't attack.
Yeah, he wanted to though. Maybe that throws a wrench into his plans. Maybe he's expecting. All right.
Oh, Death Right.
Okay, he's got his own Lava Mancer.
He's got to have an answer to the Lava Mancer now, because.
I mean, maybe he abrade. The abrade.
Okay, so he's gonna.
There's no way you commit.
He's abrading the lava. Yeah, because like otherwise.
Wow, he doesn't even. He's gonna turn around on Quinn and go. Oh. He's gonna do Death Right to the face to win this game. Ooh.
Oh. There's a Painter.
Here we go. This is Painter at its finest.
Yeah, and so I mean so as it stands, Quinn's board, it checks the Pyromancer and the token just without the bridge in play.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian has used his Abrade, so he still has the Kolaghan's Command and the Ancient Grudge to handle the bridge. But
yeah, so at this point, Quinn's got like 6 draw steps to find part B of the combo.
Painter is on blue. Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was that helps us.
That was very helpful. Yeah. So I imagine he's doing this to shut off Force of Will pitching land or something like that from the Delver player.
That turns it on.
It, yeah.
No, I mean because he put it on black rather than on blue.
Oh, I thought you said blue.
Black.
Yeah, so he put it on black to avoid something where making anything pitch to Force of Will.
That's a pretty next level play.
Yeah. Turning on Pyromancer.
So he's willing to turn off his own blasts.
Okay, looks like Ian's made a true name and wait, how did he do that?
Another Lava Mancer.
Okay.
What?
Wait, what do you mean? True name, he's got 2 blue.
Yeah, but his lands are untapped. Or you just missed something talking about the whole black versus blue.
Yeah, maybe there's another turn.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's probably
I
what happened.
passed through, yeah. That Lava Mancer, though, is looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically that True Name was a garbage card. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not doing anything here.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, I think this is casting in Spirit Guide.
Yeah. I realized I made a ooh noise over that, but that's also a trash card too. It's like, I mean, what is that doing?
I mean, it does so like helps. I mean, if something ever happens to Bridge, but the problem here is I think is that Quinn is just slowly accumulating more permanents than Ian is able to deal with. Just without something like a brainstorm to get multiple answers in his hand.
What he should play is Smokestack at this point. Just grind out ultimate advantage.
I hate Smokestack so much. Like, every time I play it, I end up getting behind, and then I lose.
Yeah. But it's you can't hold it against a Smokestack player because he's such a rogue.
Yeah, I think... I don't know, what do you guys feel about fetching there? Because it basically takes a clock, or turn off the Deathrite clock.
Yeah, good point.
Still quite a while.
That's true. I mean, he has 5 more turns before he dies to this Deathrite.
So I guess the alternative is you take that 1 damage, or you take 2 damage.
Oh, well, actually, it doesn't matter because he's just killing the Deathrite with the Lava Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to do that, yeah. Does he use the pedal to do it?
How does this interaction work? Because so he, like...
So that's actually smart, because now if he draws a welder, he can switch the pedal for the bridge and just like fade removal and stuff now, right?
Well, then he could actually attack and then put the bridge back in.
That's true, yeah.
Shoot.
So how does the interaction between Lava Man and Deathrite work? Can you fizzle... No, because exiling is part of the cost, right? So you can't, fizzle
the Lava Man can fizzle the Deathrite.
But not
the
other
only
way
if they're
around.
targeting cards in your graveyard.
Gotcha. Basically, Lava Man owns the Deathrite in that scenario. Oh,
I'm sure Ian's graveyard is completely full of... Oh, did he kill it? No.
So he certainly does not have Kolagon's command in hand.
Oh, this is a tricky spot for Quinn, because he got the Plateau instead of the Plains. I think that was an Arid Mesa, right, that he cracked?
Yeah, he should have got the Plains.
Because now he's going to have to take damage to... I mean, actually, I think he can probably just hold the Imperial Recruiter in hand, because, like, it basically draws a card which then incentivizes him to play it. I mean, I guess he could maybe get the 3rd Welder if it's still in the deck.
He doesn't have a... Oh, I just don't want to play that card at this point, because what is he going to go get that's going to help him here? Like,
did he get Magus?
Oh, yeah, I guess he could get Magus here.
I don't know if I love that play either, because then you have to hit again on the Ancient Tomb.
Yeah, and he's going down to 6 here.
See, I guess
Magus would turn Double Bolt into a win right here.
Mm-hmm. The conundrum is he can't hold those cards.
I don't know how many cards Ian has in his hand, though. I can't see. He might be hellbent.
Because if he holds on to cards, then he's losing to the creatures across the table.
That's true. If he is able to... I wasn't able to see what he got. I assume this is a Magus. Yeah, he's slamming the Magus. We've seen, 1 Bolt so far?
Yeah,
and 1 Abrade, so... I mean, this turns off Deathrite, it turns off Kolagon's command, so Ian's main out here is drawing bolts or drawing the Ancient Grudge to grudge the bridge.
Even
then, there's so many guys on the board that Pyromancer is not getting through it.
Yeah.
No, the True Name does.
The True Name's going to get through, yeah.
Right, that was a blank on a draw there.
And the nice thing about this Magus is that
that's a good card.
It makes Quinn's mana base now pain free, so he can tap the Ancient Tomb without any problem. Are we?
So he's
doming him. Sending this upstairs? Yeah, I think that's...
Just gotta dome him.
Yeah, you can see the difference between
he's gonna control
the Delver deck and the Painter deck, where the Delver deck has 12 cantrips and just like a lot of cheap interactive spells. It can fuel a Deathrite very quickly.
Probe, that's pretty good.
Deathrite only obviously takes one one card in graveyard to activate, and
Yeah.
Quinn's only activated the Lavamancer twice, and he only has one more activation left, basically.
See, this is why I think you dome, because Lavamancer can generate extra threats. You know, like I don't see the use of controlling the board. Oh, he named black. He can't. So, but he can
No,
kill,
you
he can still
can-
cast. Yes.
Yeah, you can still cast it, it just won't do anything.
If
It
it was
was
in an
red,
he
emergency.
needs to give himself another
you just got to fire it off for nothing.
burn.
I actually don't know if he needs to fire it off here,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like,
Because if
so the token can attack, but he has multiple, 2 toughness creatures.
right,
1 power. At least 1 power
The
plus 2 toughness.
Magus blocks all day.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I guess the point is it's basically a blank draw. It's kind of, well, see, yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing
I would
happens.
have maybe held it, just...
Because what if he gets? I mean, he's not playing a blue spell until he plays a red spell first.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, I would hold it, because, like, what if your next draw is Grindstone, and then Ian has counter magic for it?
Yeah.
Well, it's off because every card's black.
Well, but if he plays a blue spell,
Yeah, like if he Force of Wills
black, so it's blue and
Oh,
black. It doesn't
and-
replace.
Oh, I see. I thought it changed everything. That's weird. What a weird card.
It's super weird. And it's a scarecrow.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I still think you dome the head though, because
Yeah, I mean, at this
Time
point,
Answers.
what, Ian would have been at 3 if all these
Yeah.
had just gone upstairs?
yeah. So which point you kind of almost just want to like blow up your own bridge and.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's...
All right. That's.
Other land.
And
Well,
what
yeah.
I worry about here is that because he didn't fetch that basic planes, that, like, if there's still Enlightened Tutors or Rest in Pieces
There
in the
it
deck...
is.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Well,
Lucked out.
don't have to
So-
worry about him getting caught with Enlightened Tutor in hand. Oh,
Oh
my God.
Oh my god, Lady Luck. All right. I mean, besides that chain of events, that was actually the best draw. I was gonna say he
Yeah.
wants Chandra, but this is actually the best draw. This is the best of all worlds. Looks like he's gonna
Pitching a true name force. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna counter with True Name pitching force.
Yeah, and
My
this is
completely
where
mismatched
just
force.
slamming the Pyroblast for no value other than to keep your hand empty is
Yeah,
coming back to bite him a little bit.
Because that would have been a win there, maybe. Ooh.
Oh, well.
But then he
Nothing
gets it.
better
It
than
was
the
already
natural. Oh. What does he got? What does he got? Does he have... No, he does not. There we go.
And Delver falls for the 3rd time today.
Delver.
I was
Best deck
sure.
in the format. Perhaps we need to reevaluate
Yes,
this.
Yeah. Colossal.
So if your meta is all Grixis Delver, you should play one of the 3 decks we featured so far.
Yeah. Stay tuned for some more exciting shenanigans. What do we have up next? Like
Like Eldrazi, maybe.
And 4-color loam.
4-color loam. It's a pretty sick deck.
So, yeah, imagine you're going to be on 4-color low Mike,
I'll play it.
and then, yeah, like Austin or Ian can be on Delver,
Yeah.
or, I don't know, yeah, depends on what you guys feel like.
Cool. Well, we will bring that to you guys when we queue that up.